lived in San Antonio for about a year.
Hey, nice. Okay.
Yeah, and I went back and forth, Houston, San Antonio, Austin. I was kinda bouncing around. Caterpillar. I used to work for Holt Caterpillar
Oh,
down there.
yeah, yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah, yeah. So, man, met a lot of people from the area. It was a good time. So I got to know the areas a little bit. And so when I found your stuff, I was like, man, some of this stuff's familiar. I know where this stuff is.
Yeah, nice.
But no, Stanley, man, I'm glad to have you on today. And again, appreciate the flexibility. This is going to be a cool conversation because you're the first person I've had on here that's specifically YouTube focused as you've built out your channel over the last several years. And to the point that you've written a book,
Yeah.
basically how to grow on YouTube. And I know a lot of people that are trying to be creators or they have an idea and they're trying to grow their channel. I know a lot of what you've done can add a lot of value with this conversation. And so, dude, thanks for taking the time.
Man, the pleasure is all mine. Enjoyed hanging out with you, the little bit of conversation that we had prior to being able to jump on here and doing this. I'm a fan of what you're doing, and I'm blessed and stoked to be on here with you, man, because I enjoy and appreciate what you're doing here.
Yeah. No, well, thank you for the kind words. And no, Stanley, jump right in, man. I'll be curious to know. Obviously, your channel's awesome. It's fishing,
Thank
you're
you
out
for
on the
that.
water. It's like I'm sure there's a lot of women that watch too, but it's like a guy's channel of if you want to go watch some of this stuff that you put out there on your fishing journeys and all of that. But how did you, man, just go back in time? Because your videos, I mean, they go back years at this point. And
Yeah,
how
yeah.
did you really, I don't know, the idea spark? Because you film all this from an old cell phone too. So just the
Yeah.
way you film and post, but just talk about how you stumbled into posting on YouTube and how that channel grew to where now you coach people on how to grow their own channels.
Man, I tell you what, and I know that this is just how life is. It has been just the weirdest journey. The entire thing started. So, my family, what we do, this has been a tradition since forever, get together for the holidays. And we sit there and we enjoy some scotch. We enjoy some cigars. We sit there and just have like a little sit down. I grew up in a little log cabin out in the middle of nowhere. So I'd get with my dad, my brothers. It's all boys, and everybody's like, I'm the smallest. I'm the oldest of all the sons, and I'm the smallest. So here I am, like I'm 6'2", and everybody else is like 6'4", 6'6", and we all get out there around a little fire pit. We drink our scotch and we sit there and we talk about what we want to do in life. Like every year, we just sit there and just, just brainstorm and we just think and we just talk about all these things. And that was 10 years ago now, we were all sitting around the fire for Easter. We were sitting around and the kids were playing in the yard and we're all sitting there and we're all talking about like, oh, what is the thing that we need to be doing in life? Like we were all in the oil field in some capacity. And we were all doing just insane, like 120-hour weeks. And so this was an Easter where we just, we hadn't seen each other. We hadn't been able to hang out. And that's all we want to do is we just want to hang out. We want to go cut down trees and chop firewood. And we want, go fishing, go hunting. And that's just garden. And that's all we want in life. And we're sitting there talking about it. And my brother and I had some experience doing some filming and stuff in the past. We always had fun just making little videos. And I enjoyed surfing. So I enjoyed surf flicks and I was really inspired by that. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, we do a lot of fishing. Why don't we do something fishing related for, my dad's going to retire in a few years. Let's do some kind of family business that involves the fishing. And my dad was like, no, I don't want to do that. He said, I really enjoy fishing. I have a passion for it. Like we love fishing.
Yeah.
He's like, the last thing I want to do is take that and turn it into something that I don't enjoy. I don't want to be a charter person where I have to do what everybody else is doing. I am required to go fishing, even on the worst days, even when there's no fish. And I know this is not a day I'm not feeling it. I don't want to do it, but I have to go and do it because somebody's paying me. It's like, I don't want to do that. I was like, you know what? Yeah, I wouldn't want to do that either. I want to enjoy it. That's kind of the point. And I'm like, man, if we just did this on YouTube, then we're not beholden to, having people to pay us, stuff like that. We go when we want to. We film the experiences that we enjoy doing. And then we're bringing that to these people who don't have access to that, who are not able to. And on top of that, we're not going to be around forever. We get to film these experiences for future generations who, the resources dwindling the way they are. Grandkids, obviously we're going to whiskey and cigar ourselves to death into an early grave. So we want them to be able to experience and enjoy what we were. So I just started filming.
Yeah.
just started filming videos, and that was it. Like, that's how the whole thing got started, and that was 10 years ago, 600 videos ago now.
Yeah, dude, no, that's awesome. And yeah, I love the approach to it. Like, hey, we don't have to make this work. Let's just film the fun we're having.
Yeah.
And like you said, not everybody gets to experience what you guys are doing. I'm in Tennessee. I'm not by the ocean. No, I don't get to go out in the ocean and fish. But seeing your videos, it inspires me to get there more often and figure out a way to go do it. But
That was the smartest decision. I get so many comments from people. I originally started targeting. I knew a little bit. Like I spent before I started doing YouTube. I spent 2 years. Literally, I wanted to do this. I was absolutely committed. I was passionate. I was going to make this a thing. I had a chip on my shoulder, and so in order to do it, I was doing heavy hours in the oil field. And I said that in order to make this happen, I have to find the time to do it. So no television, no video games. I didn't listen to the radio. If I'm driving somewhere, I was putting on a tutorial on how to do a certain YouTube thing, learning all things. I did that for 2 years. Zero downtime, zero hobbies, disciplines, all of that got replaced with just YouTube education. And that's so when I got into it, I was like, okay, I'm going to target. I knew SEO and I knew how to do the psychology of the viewer, and I knew how the algorithm worked and all this stuff too, enough so that I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. I'm gonna hit the ground running. I am going to target people who are visiting Padre Island, the tourists and the people. And it was the greatest decision in that whole thing, because I get so much feedback from people who visited Padre Island one time in their life. They were 10 years old and their family went on a vacation, and they didn't want we do fishing videos, but they didn't want those videos that everybody does where it's just you slap the GoPro on your chest and you just film some fishing. We tried to show you, I tried to collect a bunch of B-roll of all of the experiences, the walking in the sand, the way the water washes up on the beach, the flora, the fauna, the people, the roads, the memorable moments and things that you would experience while you're out there. I try to incorporate a lot more of that. And I get so many comments to this day from people who they're like, yes, like this is what I wanted. I remember this trip I had with my parents when I was 10 years old, and now mom's dead, and I don't have anything, to remember them by. I had one the other day that was just the most glorious comment, made the entire channel worthwhile. I was on a fishing trip on a party boat, and one of the gentlemen, there was a group of us that were all on there, and one of the gentlemen had passed away, and he was a friend of ours brother. And I think that was the second to last fishing trip that the brothers ever got to do with each other. And a couple of weeks ago, I got a message from one of the guys that was on the boat from the brother. He said, man, I've seen this video 100 times. We've watched it. He's, I don't have a whole lot of video. Obviously, nobody's got a camera guy running around. And this just got recommended to me again by YouTube because I watch it, so often. It's like that. And he's like, my brother passed away 2 years ago on this day, and YouTube recommended this video. And he's like, this is pretty much the only video I have. And it's of like one of the greatest memories that we have. He's like, thank you. Like, I really appreciate that, you captured all that. It's not just fishing with a GoPro on the chest. I'm capturing everybody hanging out in the galley, and, we're hanging out, like trying to bait up our hooks and the conversations that are going on. And that comment was like, that is it. That's what this is all for, is I got that experience for that guy, and that made everything worthwhile.
yeah. I love that, man. I can hear the passion behind it, and some of the stuff you're describing, I'm going through at that entry level point. Like, I'm watching videos on how to improve the channel. I'm doing nothing but books for
Nice.
guys. Like, how can I make the website better? How can I get more books to people? How can I get more interest? And so hearing you and your passion behind it, I'm like, okay, I think I'm on the right track here, because I got the same sort of drive that Stanley does. And look what Stanley's done, building this thing out. I'm curious to know specifically, just YouTube talk for a second.
Absolutely.
Some of the changes you've experienced over the years now with the way the algorithm is, now they have shorts. There's so many different tools that are in there. From when you started to today, what are some of the biggest, I don't know, personal challenges you've had to balance between this being a passion, but also making sure you are understanding the algorithm and your videos are getting out there for people to see? Just what are some of the things you've learned, and some of the again, the challenges where you're like, dang, man, YouTube keeps messing with me a little bit and I have to figure this out?
You know what? I've never once felt like that. YouTube, I think it's all about mindset. YouTube is all about the viewer.
Mhm.
Like, they are not here. They provide a bunch of tools and they give you all the information that they can, but they aren't here for the guys creating the videos. While they give you everything that's necessary, that's not they're here for that person who right now who is watching this. Like they're not worried about you and me sitting here recording this whole thing,
Yeah.
this conversation. Their concern is that person right there on the other side of the screen who's watching this right now. There's what did they enjoy about this? What did they click on it immediately? Did they have to wait for it to start playing in the thing? Did they find it by search? Did they
Yeah.
find it because they were subscribed to the channel? Did they come over here from a website? Or did they find this, did they find you on YouTube? That's what YouTube is concerned about. So the changes that I've seen are fairly minimal. Now, there have been some changes that YouTube has made over the years that made a difference. Like the fishing thing, if we'd have started that 5 years earlier, we'd be a 100,000 subscriber channel.
Yeah.
It got really crowded there in the 2016, 2017 kind of time. We had a couple of videos that popped right off the bat. Now, I was right at the tail end of that whole era. And then it took me 2 years to be able to get back to that point of creating a video that had that kind of traction on it. So there have been some changes, but the biggest changes were like shorts was huge when that happened. But that doesn't affect us. It affects the way viewers watch the platform, and again, coming back to like how YouTube, they're not worried about you and me making videos. They trust us to make the videos that we want to make, and they trust us to put them out there and everything. They are focused on that viewer. That guy's scrolling through the feed, and he's like, as he's sitting there scrolling, YouTube's like, well, what about this? Well, what about this? How about this one? You liked one of this guy's videos one time. You watched a video about this thing one time. He makes a video about that. They're spastically trying to do that, and they're doing that with your videos. So, like, Shorts has been a wonderful addition to the platform. It's, as somebody who's not a Shorts creator, I have a difficult time with it. Thankfully, there's a lot of tools out there that kind of help, and I have fun with it, but those are different viewers. Like that's not me. I'm not sitting there scrolling through Shorts. I'm not a TikTok guy. When I put out a Shorts video, I'm getting in front of people who would not find me otherwise. They're not, I'm putting out a 20 or a 30-minute video. They're not going to find me scrolling through the Shorts feed.
Yeah.
But if I'm putting Shorts videos out there, now I'm getting in front of people who weren't going to find me in the first place. So that's a nice little addition. But what it does is now that there is that's something that's available on the platform, then those videos that we used to have before Shorts, where it was like, I'm going to take 2 minutes and I'm going to show you how to do a thing. That video is, for a while there, it was less valuable because you have the Shorts solution. You can just scroll through the Shorts instead of finding a regular video that's only 2 minutes long. And I actually think that's kind of coming back. I think that there's going to be a returning value in people making 2-minute videos.
Yeah.
We're just not there yet because of the value of Shorts.
And I've even seen recently that YouTube's increased the length that your shorts can be now to be categorized as shorts. So you're exactly right. I think they've caught on to that too.
Yep.
But it's like, and I figured you were going to go this route, and I'm glad you explained it the way you did. But essentially, if you want people to watch your videos, it's on you to put out content that actually wants to be watched. It's
Well
not
said.
YouTube's job to promote you or push you. It's the viewers will push your video the way it needs to be pushed, which leads me to one question for you. Cause you obviously work with people now and you help guide people on how to grow a channel. What's the difficulty, and maybe you haven't experienced this, but I'm curious, has anyone reached out to you for help? And in your mind, you're thinking, this just isn't good content. Like
Oh,
how do you have that
yeah.
conversation where you say, hey, I get you want this to grow, but to grow, you got to do something different because this is just not, I can't help you grow this.
I tell you what, I'm going to take that conversation up a notch. I had a one-on-one, and it was one of the most difficult hours of my life. It was a one-on-one conversation with a channel. I'm not even going to get it close to like naming who this is, but it was a 10 million subscriber channel. I had a one-on-one sit down with this guy or girl, and the whole conversation, it was so hilarious because I didn't know who he was, and we pull up his channel and I start recognizing the videos. Like I've seen him in my feed. And I had a negative opinion of this channel before, but I went into the conversation. I'm like, you know what? We're gonna do this. I understand what you're doing. I understand why you're doing it. And it's not a bad person. It's not terrible stuff, but it's clickbaity as hell.
Yeah.
There's obviously a reason, it's very obvious why they are at the level that they are at. And it's very obvious why I am now having this conversation with this guy. And we had a sit down 1 hour conversation, one on one. And I was very delicate. Like, man, this is what you're doing, right? But
Mhm.
this is what the viewers see. And in my mind, I'm sitting there going like, this is what I'm thinking every time I see one of your thumbnails, pop up in my feed. This is what's going through my head. But then I've got to I got to
Yeah.
filter it out. And I'm like, so what viewers may garner from this when they see this thing that you're doing, you may want to improve on that. And man, we went through an entire 1 hour conversation and he kind of bought into some of the things that I said. But on the other side of the coin, that there's always this mentality, and this conversation happens once a day where they get what you're saying and they understand. And maybe for other creators, that's right.
Yeah.
But not for me. This isn't information that caters to me and my channel because I'm different and my audience is different and they don't follow the same rules, and it's the algorithm that's really causing the issue. So how do they get around? Like they've got this
Yeah.
mental thing, and so he kind of went into that direction. And actually, he was privy to. He went after I was talking to him. We were in like a conference hall, and he went and talked to Mr. Beast afterwards. And Mr. Beast had given him some very similar advice to what I was saying. And he was telling like Mr. Beast after, and Mr. Beast was like so not into this conversation. But afterwards, he was like, he walked away from that conversation with Mr. Beast going like, well, my channel's a little different. It's
Yeah.
not exact, like he was doing the exact same thing for the
Yeah.
guy. So at that point, I'm just kind of like laughing it off. Like, okay, that's just how this conversation
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah. No, that's funny, and I figured that's kinda the case, and again, I think even just the word algorithm gets pushed out there so much, so people just get
Yeah.
caught up on, like, "How can I trick it? What is it?" But really, it just boils down to, and I like how you say, like, I don't care about it, like, I'm just gonna put my stuff out there. I know, if people wanna watch it, they'll watch it. I'll tweak some things to make it more entertaining or how you like it, but you're not really focused on, like, how do we trick the algorithm so that we can get more views and make this a quick win. It's more about being steady, putting out what you're trying to put out. You can improve things
Yeah.
here and there to make it a better video and all of that. And I love Mr. Beast too talking about that, just like how to improve every like 1%. The next video make
Yes.
it this
I'm
much
I'm
better, this
huge on
much
the one
better.
at 1%.
Yeah.
Every single day of your life, improve something by 1%.
Yeah.
I love
And
that.
it just and over time, it gets better. It's really cool to see even my channel, it's not very big yet, but I can tell, like, every time I put something out there, there's, like, one more even just one more view, I'm like, Cool, that's a small win," like, "One
Yep.
more subscriber, cool, small win," like, something's interesting here, but I think it's trying to get that mindset of, "Hey, this is gonna take time," it's not an overnight thing. We see these YouTube channels where it's like, "Oh, man, they're just, like, they're crushing it," but even, people forget about Mr. Beast. They're like, "Dude, that guy posted for years with no traction at all
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
he became Mr. Beast," but it's cool
I
to hear.
hit 1,000 subscribers faster than Mr. Beast did.
That's yeah, and that's crazy. And not against you, I'm just saying, like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
his story of, like, dude, Mr. Beast didn't become Mr. Beast overnight. That guy put in so much time to get
yeah.
better with his YouTube channel, and now, obviously, it's led to this amazing platform. But what is your Stanley, just it's so cool that you've built this out and you've been able to do some really cool things. What's been your I got, like, a few questions around this. Number 1, like, what's been the best thing about your channel and what you've created? Is it the flexibility to do different things in life with your family, to work with other like, organically, how this thing has grown? What's just been the best part about it for you?
It it gets me out the door. Like I have this commitment where I have to go to the beach, or I have to go to Mexico, or I have to, my family, my dad or my uncle or somebody is going to be going fishing, and they call me up and say, "Hey, we're going fishing." I'm like, "Well, I have to go. I can't say no to that. I can't be the guy who's turning down these opportunities." And probably, I would guess over half of the fishing trips that we've done, I probably would have turned down because I'm tired from work, or I have this project that I have to do at the house. Now I've got this pile of projects that I need to finish around here, but and I'll get to them. They'll be fine. Like it'll be all right. But I've had so many of these experiences because I'm like YouTube is forcing me to get out the door and go and do it.
Yeah,
That has been the best part of just all of it is just, the camera forcing me to go and do something.
Yeah. Well, and it's probably never a bad
Oh, we get some bad
being
ones.
forced to go
We get
fishing.
some days absolutely where I'm like, what am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
Why am I doing this? Why did I have to choose YouTube? I should have picked up knitting.
But I'm sure going fishing with your dad and your friends and doing that, when you're done, there's probably not a lot of regret that comes from being pushed out the door to go do these experiences. There's a lot of worse things to be forced to go do, and you're creating all these memories, and it's just kind of the way you have to think about it. But it's really cool that you chose something that you get forced to go do something that you love most of the time,
Yep.
which I think everyone's trying to figure that out. How can I do more of what I love to do? And it's really cool that you've created this path for yourself to be able to do that. Now that you've gotten, your channel's successful, you're still chipping away at it. What's your goal from here? What's your YouTube goal over the next 5 years? I mean, are you to a point to where this is all you do? Are you trying to get to a point where that is your full-time income job? Like, because I know it's hard to do. You've got to produce content to get, and I kind of know the numbers of money and how channels work, but what's your personal goal over these next few years now?
I'm doing some work with some companies that they allow me to do this, or I should be in a position to where I can do this full time. And I have been doing it full time for 6 years because of I was doing some work with another company and I got laid off from that. And it kind of put me into a spot where financially I'm not really able to be where I need to be at. So I am looking for I'm actually like in the process of looking for jobs and stuff right now. And it doesn't have to be anything long term, but I do if I'm going to do something I would kind of prefer to do long term. And one I am working with a couple of other companies right now doing some contract work for them that may pan out into being a long-term solution. I really hope it is, honestly,
Yeah.
because they're a good company. And I am totally comfortable with that being the thing. Like I don't have to be making videos as the thing that supports the family. I want to be able, I've got to be able to enjoy it.
Yeah.
If I'm not enjoying it, there's no point. So I'm real careful with myself about that, where if I'm not feeling it, I'm not going to force myself to go out. I will force myself to go out and go do some fishing. But if there's something going on with, family or something that's making it where this is just not going, I'm not going to be good on camera, then I'm not going to do it. That working with that company. So like with YouTube, I'm bouncing all over the place. Sorry.
No, you're good.
Often when you're doing YouTube, your income is going to come from like several different sources. And if you are doing YouTube right, you're probably going to have about 7 different income sources. And not one of them is going to support you. You kind of have to have all of them. So my contract work with that company is one of the main, the primary revenue sources that allows everything else to come in. And I'm hoping I get to spend I hope I get to retire from that company and then continue what I'm doing with my work on YouTube at the same time. I
Yeah.
hope that's how that
Yeah.
works.
No, love that. And I love your approach to that. Because I could see where it could quickly become very stressful if all you're doing is trying to make content to stay
Yeah.
ahead of the game, especially again with family. And that's a lot of responsibility and things can change. And you don't
Yeah.
want to be caught with just that. So I
And
like
if you're
your,
making money with it doing content, right now I get to go to the beach. I get
yeah,
to film my trip and then I'm good. I edit that and we're good to go.
yeah,
When you start kind of moving up a little bit, you get into these positions. I've seen this like a ton of times where, somebody comes along and they're like, "Hey, we want you to sponsor our product. We've got this product thing and we want to pay you to implement us into the video." Like, "Yeah, shoot, yeah, I'll do that. You're going to pay me and I get a toy to play with and all this stuff." And then, yeah, it's all good to go. And you accept it and they send you the thing. And then the reality kind of sets in where you're like, I am under the gun. I have to film. The weather sucks. This is not the day that I want to be fishing.
yeah.
It's going to be miserable out. It's cold and it's windy. And this thing is not going to work well. I have to go film the thing rather than the fishing and miserable. It snowballs. And now all of a sudden you're under the gun to film and get something done and it has to look good. And you're going to send this off to them and they're going to say, "This is really good, but we need you to make some changes. We need you to refilm this a little bit because you need to say these things. You got this one line a little bit wrong." Like that gets really stressful really fast.
Yeah. No, I can imagine. I can imagine. Well, just a couple more questions for you, Stanley. And you kind
Mhm.
of you brought this up, and I'm curious. Can you break down what the different revenue streams are as a YouTube channel? You were saying there
Yeah,
could be 6 or 7 lines of revenue that can come in. And I'm sure one of them's obviously views. YouTube compensates people based off views. I
the
know you
AdSense revenue.
potential sponsorships that you can include. Obviously, that's
Yeah.
another line. What are some of but break down some of the ways that people can make money on YouTube.
So obviously the AdSense revenue, and that's the worst. That's a lot of guys use that as just that's their foundational reinvestment back into their channel. I've seen a lot of guys who like that AdSense revenue is the money that they use as donations and philanthropy or whatever,
Oh,
because
cool.
it is the worst. And depending on what you do, when you choose your topic and your niche that you get into, like if you choose gaming, cool,
Mhm.
good for you. Do what you enjoy and do the thing that you can be an authority in, but you are not going to make any money in gaming. The people that are advertising in front of gaming content, they don't have a lot of disposable income. So you're going to be making like 50 cents or $1 for every 1,000 views. I'm doing fishing and boating. The people who are looking for that kind of stuff tend to have a larger disposable income. So I'm getting $20 to $25 for every 1,000 views. Huge scale difference on money. So your AdSense, it's going to be dependent, but it's really minimal when compared to the other ones. AdSense, your merchandise, and it's so stupid easy to have merchandise these days. You
You can
can just
drop
go through
ship most of it.
Spreadshop or Spring. Yeah, there's you don't have to worry about warehousing or
Yeah,
customer service or anything. You can just take your image, slap it on a product online. They will do fulfillment and take care of everything, and they'll just cut you a check. And it's not going to be as much, but it's because you're paying for the customer service and the warehousing of those products, the shipping and fulfillment. But it can be done. Get your merch out there. Products and services is the big one.
mm,
If you were going to make money on YouTube, the majority, like 90% of the money that you should be making should be from the thing that you offer. You're an authority on the topic. I'm doing fishing. So hypothetically, the majority of my income should come from me offering charter services or guide services or I could offer, I don't do any of this, but I could offer where, I go out on a guide trip with somebody and I'll film it for you. And I will make sure that you get the visual image so that you will be able to remember this for the rest of your life. That could
yeah,
be a service that I offer.
mhm,
But that's where the majority of your income, because that's $2,500
yeah,
that you could be charging for somebody to go, let's go out on the boat, let's go on a fishing trip. It'll be $2,500. I'm going to give you like a video you'll be able to remember for the rest of your life. We'll get you some good fish. And that is going to kick the heck out of any amount of AdSense revenue or if I sell a couple of t-shirts.
yeah,
And affiliate marketing would be another one, of course, too. If you have a product that you work with, sponsorships,
yeah,
it kind of falls in line with that. Affiliate marketing is where if you use so like this is the rod that I use, and this rod works really well for the fishing that I do. If you want to get your hands on this rod, because you can see in this video just how well it's working for me, I've got a link in the description of the video down below. I'll link over to that. And anytime somebody buys from that link, I get a little bit of a kickback. I get a commission on it.
yeah. Cool, cool. Yeah, that's I just think it's good to break that down of all the different areas you can generate some sort of income from. There's a lot of opportunity there if you go about it the right way,
Yeah.
grow the right way. There's a lot of different routes you can get compensated for, which is a cool thing, if you're doing things the right way. And so
Yeah.
Stanley, one last question for you, and I want to end on your book, How to Grow on YouTube. And we've got it on the Books for Guys website. We'll add links to be able to follow your YouTube channel and to go purchase the book for those that are interested.
Thank you
For
for
those
that.
who
I
do read
really
your
appreciate it.
Yeah, yeah, man, absolutely. For those who do read your book, what is one piece of advice, if they take nothing else from it, that you hope they either implement or you hope that's the nugget they get from it?
There is a ton of advice that you're going to hear. Some of that advice is going to work for others, less for you. We had that conversation earlier. Like, I know how that goes. It's all good. I get it. At the end of the day, regardless of what anybody says about anything, you can take everything that I have to say and throw it right out the window. Anything that anybody has to say, you can throw it right out the window. If there is one thing that you need to do, you need to take a deep breath and you need to be introspective and you need to focus whatever it is you are doing on that one person just on the other side of the screen. You are not talking to a group of 100 subscribers who are all piled up on the couch watching your stuff together. You are not making content to fulfill the demands of an algorithm. You are not This is not a marketing ploy. This is not salesman. You don't need to do any of that. You don't need to do all the CTAs. You don't have to sit there and say, hey, make sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell and make sure that every Tuesday you have 12:30 to 1:30 off in the afternoon and check out my social medias. You don't have to do any of that. You simply make the thing that you make with the focus being that one person on the other side of the screen and what value you are going to provide for them. Everything else, it is a distant second compared to that.
Love that, man. Well, Stanley, we'll end it there, man. Thank you so much for coming on and talking about this. Because again, a lot of people are they're watching videos, they're trying to make them. A lot of people are. Most of us don't know what the heck we're doing, and so having someone out there who's done it and is open to helping others, and then obviously you've got a book out there now that, if nothing else, go read Stanley's book, and it'll give you some tips and insights on how you can get 1% better
Yep.
every day. And so, man, keep putting the good content out there, and we'll keep sharing it, man. But thank you so much, Stanley.
Hey, pleasure is all mine. I can't thank you enough for being here. And I'll give you a little tip and insight. Like if anybody has any questions and you don't feel like spending a couple of bucks on the book, I get it. Please consider it. But if you don't want to do that, check out my YouTube channel at Stanley Orchard Studios. Hit up Stanley Orchard. I LinkedIn is my other one. Stanley Orchard on LinkedIn. And if you have any questions, I have answered every single comment on every single video that I have done on all of the channels that I work with for 10 years. And I plan on continuing that trend. So if you have any questions, feel free, hit me up. I am more than happy to give you any insight as thoughts, older to cry on. You need it. I plan on being there for you.
Love it. Yeah, we'll make sure all of those links are in the show notes for any of those wanting to follow you, and yeah, if they need a good shoulder to cry on as they work through their own channels. So,
I
but thanks a lot,
appreciate you,
Stanley.
Chris.
I
Of
appreciate it, man.
course.